You see we have most of the note filled in front of you for our next lesson, which is changing direct and partial variation situations. And what does that mean? Well, it just means can you solve a question, identify whether it is direct or when it's partial. So this is just a continuation on what we've been doing. And as you can see, Charlie, you should be watching this on Halloween or right after Halloween. You can see Charlie's got his bat dog costume on. Okay, so in this first example, we've got Ferd, and he is working, delivering catalogs where he earns $20 no matter how many catalogs he delivers, but then on top of that he earns an extra 30 cents or dollar, like $0.3, which is 30 cents for every catalog. And it asks us to fill out the table of values. Oh no, actually it first asks us, is it direct or partial? And how do you know? And this is where I filled in right here. Well, I know that it's partial because there's a starting value. Okay? So because if he didn't earn this $20 up front, it was just 30 cents for every catalog, then it would be a direct relationship. But because he earns this, which he earns even if he doesn't deliver any catalogs, that makes it a partial variation. Okay? Part B then says make the table of values, and it says to use intervals of 10 catalogs. So 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, okay? Now the thing to be careful of is over here, because when I'm filling in the table of values, you have to use a couple thoughts. Well, first of all, you have to know that it starts at 20. He earns $20 off the bat. Now, I went up by 3s, as you can see, and the reason I went up by 3s is that it's if he earns 30 cents or $0.3 for every single catalog, that means for 10 it would be $3. So I made a bit of a jump there, and that's what that means. Okay, so I started with 20 and then added 0.3 times the number of catalogs, which I spelled wrong. Okay. So that's how I came up with those numbers. Part C says to graph the data, so I selected I made a little squiggle line to represent jumping from 0 to 20, and then I made 20 my bottom number, and I went up by 3s. So 23, 26, 29, 32, 35, 38. I just didn't fill them in because it would be too crowded on that small graph. And same thing here. I followed for my x-axis, which always this number on the left is the x, and I went up by 10s. And then you can see the little red dots demonstrate the points, and I joined them. Notice that I joined them with the dotted, not a straight line. And the reason is catalogs fit into the category of things that he's not going to deliver half of a catalog or a quarter of a catalog. He can only drop them off in whole numbers, and so the line should be dotted. Okay. When it says to write the equation, I'm down here now. First, let's state what's what. So I'm going to say N is the number of catalogs, and E is how much he earns. So his earnings is going to be $20 right off with no matter what, plus 30 cents per catalog, and that means this is like the rate of change. And you multiply that by the whatever's on the x-axis, which is N. Okay? If you need to pause the tape, please go ahead. But I'm going to jump into just showing you the assignment. So there's a bunch of questions just like this, and I thought I would do the first one for you so you see what to do. I'm going to look at this situation right here, and it says this banquet hall charges $12 per person. Well, first of all, is it partial or direct? And I'm saying it's direct because there's no fixed cost. Okay? And then write an equation. So I said right up at the top, let C be the cost to rent and P be the number of people. So what it means is if I'm going to rent that hall, and if I have 100 people coming, it's going to cost 12 times 100, right? That becomes my equation. So I want you to do this one on your own. And then once you've got these two are done, or you copy this one, you do this one, then it says for each situation, determine the cost to invite 24. So I'm going to take the first equation, I did it for you, the first equation, and substitute in 24 for P. P equals 24. Okay, so you're going to do the same thing for whatever equation you come up with here. Okay, and then you're going to go through the assignment and do all the questions. Okay, so it should take a little bit of time. You're going to write equations, choose if it's direct or partial, and you're going to solve for whatever's given for every situation. So turn off the tape and do that, and then try this question right here as well. All right, we'll stop the tape.